Can we build a bond with the divine so deep that it becomes entirely unbreakable? For centuries, religious life was a transaction. Society relied on public washing rituals in sacred rivers and strict cleansing to feel closer to God. Because the distance to the divine felt massive, seekers resorted to extreme physical acts. They believed intense suffering could bridge the gap to the sacred. Raidas challenged this perceived distance, arguing that the divine exists as close to the seeker as light is to a flame. He redefined devotion as an internal state of becoming, rather than an external checklist of doing. When the divine is found within the self, the traditional mediators of faith, the physical rituals and stone temples, lose their utility. Raidas mapped out this union in his first major pod, or poetic verse. He used observable phenomena in the physical world to explain the mechanics of a metaphysical bond. He points first to sandalwood and water, chandan and pani. When sandalwood stays in water, its fragrance bleeds out, eventually infusing every single particle of the liquid. The devotee is permeated by the divine in the exact same way. In the forest, the peacock, the mora, dances the moment it sees a dark rain cloud. This is an instinctual reaction to a presence it loves, mirroring how the soul responds to the divine. This bond is also a sacrifice, illustrated by the deepak and bati, the lamp and the wick. To manifest light, the wick willingly consumes its own body day and night. In every one of these metaphors, two distinct elements merge until they lose their individual boundaries. For Raidas, this creation of a single unified phenomenon is the true meaning of bhakti. He uses the moti and dhaga, the pearl and the thread, to show how individual lives find their structure. On their own, souls are scattered. They only gain value and form when the divine thread connects them. Raidas applies metallurgical logic to this connection. In the workshop, borax is used to draw out impurities and increase the gold's brilliance. Contact with the divine works the same way, refining the human soul into its purest state. These elemental mergers culminate in the relationship of Swami and Dasa, the master and the servant. Because the previous metaphors established such total intimacy, this service is defined by love instead of fear. This spiritual alchemy is one way. Just as gold cannot return to an impure state once refined, a soul that has experienced this union remains fundamentally altered. Raidas' second pad addresses the consequences of this union. Once the internal bond is set, how does the devotee handle the pressures of the world? Raidas declares that even if the divine attempted to break the connection, he would refuse to let go. He has nowhere else to tether his spirit. With this internal certainty, he explicitly rejects the need for physical pilgrimages and ritual fasting. To Raidas, these external validations are redundant. Because the bond is carried within, he finds the divine in mundane places. This makes everywhere a place of worship, and every action a form of prayer. To maintain this exclusive connection with Hari, Raidas describes an intentional cutting of all other societal and worldly ties. This isolation serves a specific purpose. It clears the mental field for a singular, undistracted focus on the divine connection. This animation illustrates Sabahi Pahar, the idea that devotion isn't a scheduled event, but a perpetual reality spanning every hour of existence. Living in this state brings the devotee's mind, actions, and speech, man, kram, vachan, into total alignment with the divine. For Raidas, devotion is not a ritual to perform. It is a state of absolute surrender and trust. When this surrender is total, the ego disappears. What remains is an unbreakable bond where the devotee and the divine are one.